So it is wildlife coming indoors, which I think is a nightmare for most people. When things are supposed to live outside and they come in, no thank you.
No.
One woman in Texas had the scare of a lifetime while she was just trying to relax in a bath.
What is it?
It was a scorpion that crawled through the overflow drain while she was trying to take a bath.
Oh.
Here's her full reaction.
That is a freaking scorpion.
Oh, gosh.
So big that it can't fit through. Texas living at its finest. They're trying to come in everywhere to get water because it's so dry.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, I dunked my head and now he's got his head stuck. Oh my gosh, It's coming out. No way he's gonna. Are you freaking kidding me right now? You ain't gonna make it out of there. You're stuck.
Can I just say, she stayed in the bathtub the entire time. I would have been out the second that I saw a little claw.
I don't think she thought it would come through. But is a scorpion dangerous? I guess it is, right?
Yeah, they're
I
extremely
feel
dangerous.
like they are, yeah.
Are they extremely?
Yeah, some of them are. They're stinger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because it came up through the drain, and she probably has a point because there's no water there. But I thought drains are all attached. Is the overfill not attached to a drain that goes to a sewer or a septic?
I don't know, but okay, so when I first saw overflow drain, I couldn't pick. I knew that I know they have them, but it was like at the round circle, and then the very top that's opening, and its tiny claws were coming up, both of them from the side.
How did it get there?
I don't know. It's the same way. Can't things from in the sewer come out?
I guess so. I mean, it would have to get into that pipe. I mean,
or unless it crawled in there to hide, it got in some other way
because there's water there. Yeah, that's a good point. But I've heard like snakes come up in toilets and other things like that.
Terrifying. We do want to hear from you, though, if this has ever happened, any sort of wildlife coming into your home when it was not invited. We do have Isabel on the phone. Good morning, Isabel. What kind of wildlife came into your house?
A raccoon.
How did it get in?
Was it cool?
How did it get in?
So we had went out one night for dinner, and we didn't realize that it was on our front porch. And so it must have, like, when we opened the door, ran in, and we didn't see it.
Yeah,
Because when we had went in to our house, we had saw the raccoon sitting there. But we also have a broken window, so it may have came in that way.
Did it, where did it go? Just kind of hang out in your kitchen, or did it try to get into stuff?
Well, when we go in my house, it leads to the living room, so it was just like standing in the middle of our living room.
Hello.
Well, I will say this: you got to be careful with raccoons. Apparently, raccoons are big carriers of rabies.
Yeah.
Some suggest up to 20% could have rabies, and that's a lot more than bats, actually.
Yeah.
Did you try to
like the whole house?
Yeah. How'd you get it out?
I think that my dad, swept it out of the house, took a broom and
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to explain it.
He shoot it.
You got to be careful.
shoot him out.
He's like, go on, get.
If you get bit by a raccoon, then you know rabies is the worst.
Well, they told us to go to our room, so I'm not entirely sure what happened.
No, but your dad. I'm saying your dad has to be
She's
careful.
like, I was fine. My dad's fine too.
Don't worry about that.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
Thank you, Isabel. This is a nightmare come true. Teresa, what did you find in your bathroom? What kind of wildlife came in?
Well, I had two separate occasions. At one time, probably about 25 years ago, we had a possum that had found its way into our kitchen.
You wouldn't want that.
Yeah. Yeah, we looked up and we saw those little menacing little eyes, and there's something about a possum's nose that bothers me. It's not right. It's like flat and strange.
They're creepy. They're creepy as hell.
We have the one lady that actually takes care of possums and dresses them up.
Oh, yeah.
right.
Puts little hats on them.
The lady,
Feeds 'em.
that actually goes onto the side of the road.
Oh,
and this is in real
yeah.
life. And she sees the possum, let's say, unfortunately it gets hit by a car or something, and she notices like she'll go up to all the dead possums and check inside their pouch
to see if they have babies.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say this: possums seem to be less likely to carry rabies.
Is that true?
There's something about the
Oh yeah, they're immune almost.
They do not.
it's like their
Yeah, they
temperature.
do not. We found that out. We had one that was like turning around in the road out in front of our house, and I called 911, and she said, "Sweetie, possums can't get rabies."
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, she hit you with the sweetie.
We've also, yeah, it's kind of like bless your heart here, in Lexington. But we've also had like
That's
a
good
baby
eating there.
snake come up through. Oh no, a baby snake come up through the drain in our bathroom as well.
How does that
No,
happen though? How does a snake because the pipe for the drain is attached to the pipe that either goes out to the sewer or the septic. Unless you're living in like years ago before there was outside or inside plumbing, I don't understand how snakes can come up through the pipe.
Yeah, he did, and my son saw him. He's like, "Mom, you got a snake there in your bathroom." I was like, "No way, stop it!" And it absolutely was. So he kind of stood on it, and then my husband came and tried to grab it, but the little slippery sucker went back down out of the drain, and I was pouring every chemical in the house down it. So I don't think it survived, but I was like, "What?
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing.
Time to move."
Snakes are the scariest because, even though the black snakes aren't supposed to be dangerous or anything like that, I would be more okay with a raccoon that has rabies in my house than a snake like it was in my garage.
Yeah, I don't know why we're like that. I think I feel the same way almost. I'd rather have, I think, a raccoon than a mouse. Because the mice, they move so fast.
But the raccoon would do more damage. I mean, with rabies, is a big deal.
It's something about the size of it that really freaks me out. Chris, you also found a snake in your bathroom?
Yes. First of all, the kids and I are AMLs. We appreciate all you guys do.
Oh, thank you very much.
All morning listener.
But, so it's been years. I was in basic training, and I was in a big pod full of these, young 19-year-old kids trying to be, thinking we're hard and tough. And one of my buddies comes running out of the bathroom screaming like a 9-year-old girl and says, "There's a snake in the bathroom." I'm like, "Okay, calm down. There's not a snake in the bathroom." If there wasn't a snake.
Uh-oh.
And
They say that again because you're breaking up.
ran to the drill sergeant looking like a bunch of idiots. And they had to call somebody to come out and get them, and we just stayed in our little corner like little sissies. We were freaking out.
Bunch of grown-ass men just standing there in the corner.
110%. I was scared crapless.
I imagine. Yeah. Well, thank you, Chris. Too many stories, in my opinion, about snakes because that just means it's happening more than I'd like to imagine.
Snakes is a tough one.
Stephanie, go ahead. You found a snake in your house?
Yeah, it sounds like it's pretty popular to find this in
I
your
don't like
house.
it. I don't like it.
I don't either. But my daughter had to go to dance class, and I sat her up on the counter, and I'm fixing her hair, and I hear a noise. And I'm like, okay, a bottle probably fell over in the tub or something. So I look, and there's just a black snake just slithering around the bathtub. I was like, nope. So I grabbed her, and we just ran. I was like, nope.
No, thank you. How big would you guess it was?
He was probably like a good 2-3 foot long. He took up most of the bottom of the bathtub.
Yeah, no, thank you. I don't like that.
Nope.
I guess it's better than a copperhead, but my gosh.
And that was just like last week.
Last week?
Dang.
Oh, I heard that snakes now, it's a big time for snakes because they're having babies. There's probably tons of baby snakes under your house, Katie.
No, stop it. There isn't. We just we just had the crawl space enclosed. There's nothing's getting in.
Must be nice. I have to worry about these snakes all over the place.
It's going to be bad if they closed them in. Oh, yeah. You had to attack a snake the other day.
I did.
Yes, you
in
did.
the garage, but that was an emergency and a half. But yeah,
Just when you think that your snake story about like being in your bathtub is horrible, right? Apparently, Natasha, you had a snake where?
I had it in my bed. I had bunk beds when I was a kid.
Oh, my
and
gosh.
it was in the bed with me on the top bunk.
Absolutely not.
Jeez.
Yeah, it got in through the window. We were really poor growing up, and we had there was a broken window that had plastic over it, and it crawled through the window, and it was all snuggled up with me on the top bunk. And my mom had got me up for school, and
Nope.
Oh my gosh, you were sleeping with it like for a long time?
yeah.
Oh
like,
my!
I guess it thought I was warm and under the blanket, so it cuddled up with me.
It was under the blanket. It was under the
I
blanket.
can't take it.
I would have to burn my house down. I'm not kidding. I would just,
You're lucky it didn't bite you.
Oh, black snakes aren't that bad. I mean, we grew up on a farm, so it really wasn't that bad. But, I mean, it was culture shock at first. We're like, what do you do? But then my stepdad grabbed it, and we were good.
Okay,
but
she is more woman than I will. She's more woman than any of us would
She's
ever
more
be.
man than
She
me.
is. Oh,
She's more boy than me. I will tell you this, though, with a snake that's in your bed, even though they're
freak
black,
out.
Natasha,
you know, everybody keeps saying, well, black snakes, they're not poisonous. Okay, but they still bite.
I don't care.
I don't want to bite in the face.
I cannot believe that. I cannot believe that.
Yeah.
Ashley, you had something in your house. It's not snake related, but what did you find in your house?
It was my brother, actually. We did share a room, and I was on the top bunk. He was on the bottom, and I woke up to him screaming. A bat was crawling across his face.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's scary.
That's what I was going to tell you. The bat, that's happened recently, and a big time for bats now coming in. Bats can carry rabies. And if you have a bat come in and it touches you at all, and sometimes even if it doesn't touch you, if you don't catch that bat, you're supposed to go and get rabies shots.
If you don't catch it?
Because if you catch it, they'll test it to see if the bat has rabies.
Oh.
And rabies now it happened to me. The bat came into the house, and I was it actually brushed by me, and I was like, I don't want these shots. This is a big deal. It's extremely expensive.
I've
It's
heard
like
they're painful.
$14,000. There's a whole routine. But if you don't get the shot, you will die. Rabies will kill you if you don't get the shot. And I just decided to take the risk and say, hell with it. I'd rather die than pay $14,000 and have these shots.
You had the little
Yes.
tiny scratch on your arm, and you're like, "Do you think it's from its claws?" And
And
how are we supposed to
if you
know?
read about the bat, it's only like 1% to 5% of bats have rabies, and then I found out, okay, well, it's still a percentage, but then I found out how many people get bit by bats that get rabies. It's only like 2 a year in the entire United States. And they're making all these people go and get anti-venom and all that stuff. What about the raccoons?
I don't know.
Raccoons look like they have more rabies than bats.
Maybe you have a better chance of outrunning a raccoon if it has rabies than a bat
don't
flying
know.
around. I don't know. You know, when we just recently went to Austin, Texas, they have this very famous bat bridge,
Yes.
which I never had heard about until we went. And we're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of bats that maybe you might see them on a good night. You might not. If it rains, apparently they don't fly. But these bats just all hang out. I mean, I know that they exist and I know that they're among
everywhere.
us. But to see them take flight, and we luckily did not go see them because I was kind of curious but also terrified. It is terrifying to me.
And
Absolutely.
bats do eat the mosquitoes and stuff like that.
Yes.
But the reason why they make you do the shot is because they don't know if you know that you were bit, right? But I'm like, a dog has rabies. Why are we doing with the bats? But anyway.
Well, hopefully you get your pets vaccinated against it.
Yeah, but there's
hopefully, but
wolves and everything else in the.
do you run into a lot of wolves?
Yes, I do, Katie. I do run into a lot of wolves.
That's like a.
I run
that's a
into
thing?
wolves.
Okay.
Well, my neighbor in the apartment downstairs had a dog that was in the lower level dog.
Yeah.
In a lower level with a screen on. And apparently the wolf had a fox. It was a fox. Sorry, not a wolf.
Okay, big difference. That's a big difference.
It was a fox. It's still the same, very
No,
similar.
it isn't. That's a coyote and a wolf, maybe.
Well, no, a fox. But anyways, I got to look up the difference. But anyways, it was a fox, and he had rabies. And he saw the dog, and he bursted through the guy's screen and bit the guy because it was attacking the dog and bit the guy. The guy had to go get all those rabies shots.
Did he lived?
Yeah, he
That's a good
He
thing.
lives because he got
Okay.
the shot. If you didn't get the shot, you could die.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And some real quick for
yes.
anybody who encounters anything that could have rabies, obviously they have to test it for rabies by chopping its head off and dissecting its brain. The CDC does recommend you refrigerate the head and send it off as soon as possible.
Oh, no.
So,
Wow.
if you're,
I don't
Wow.
I don't think
If you're
I can do that.
interested.
Typically, you can call
Sounds like-
animal control and
Right.
they'll come in and grab it.
yes.
And then all of a
Oh,
sudden you're
man.
chopping things heads off. I just don't. I'm not made for that.
I'm sorry, a fox is similar to a wolf.
Absolutely not.
Right here. Foxes have pointy nose. Yeah, right here.
I think it's more of like in terms of what you're more likely to just come across.
Yeah.
You're more likely to just stumble upon a fox than a wolf.
Yeah.
Do we have wolves here? I don't even
A wolf's
know.
like bigger than like huskies. They're like
I
giant
was like,
dogs.
did you think you saw a husky? Is that what happened?
Is that what? You
No.
sure? Maybe coyote. I would believe a coyote. I would believe.
Fox, I get.
We're
we have them here. We do have them here. The red wolf in North Carolina.
different than a fox.
And they're at the zoo in Asheboro.
Maybe just babies. I think they went out
Very
babies.
close.
Right. Well, we're enjoying talking about all the things that are being found in people's homes, like all the wildlife, because a woman in Texas was in the bathtub when all of a sudden a scorpion came out of the overflow drain.
He's gonna.
We do have Christy on the phone. Christy, good morning. You want to say what?
Yeah, Matt said I couldn't say what I said to him, but y'all got to stop talking about this. You're scaring the crap out of me. If I find a snake in my house, I'm moving. I'm moving.
I'm with you, Christy.
He can have it. He can have it. I'll pay the mortgage. He can still stay there.
I've been terrified, seriously, for the last couple months that snake was in my
Now
garage.
be paranoid.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well,
Paranoid now.
sorry, Christy. You're not going to like this because we're
You're fine. You're fine. I love y'all. You're fine.
Thank you. Thank you.
When I answered the phone, she said, "Y'all are scaring the out of me." I was like, "I'd love for you to take this call, but please don't say
Don't
this."
say that word, please.
Please don't say that.
And she's not going to like us very much because we're going to keep going. We do have Ashley. Ashley, you found what? Like what kind of wildlife in your house?
Okay, so one time I used to live in Brazil, but it was like Sao Paulo, so a really big city, not jungle Brazil. And one time I came home, my dog was crying like really weird, really loud. Like, what the heck? I haven't been gone that long. I go inside and there were roaches everywhere. And I'm talking like not normal sized roaches like you see here, like Brazilian 3-inch fat roaches everywhere. They're crawling up the walls. They're on my bed. They're on the ceiling. They're crawling in and out of my toaster. It was horrifying. I wish that I had these stories of other people had like an isolated incident in their bathroom. Like it was in my entire house, in my kitchen. It was everywhere. It was. It was.
And did you eventually get rid of them?
Oh my God, no! I moved. Like, thank God, I had been shopping with a friend that day. So when we came home, she was with me, and she noticed that my dog was crying weird too. So she came inside, and thank God, because like all I could do was stand there and cry. Like,
How do that many roaches form that quickly, though?
Oh.
They just tell their friends.
Well, what they said, I haven't seen like one or two like here and there, and you know, like I had recently moved to Brazil, and I'm like, this is probably normal. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I had seen like one or two creep me out, whatever. But they were saying, like the people who live there were saying that probably a neighbor bombed theirs, like bug bombed it, and so all the roaches that came from their house like hung out at mine.
Gosh.
So that was fun. It was. When I tell you guys that I have a trauma from that, it was extremely traumatic. I mean,
Oh my gosh, I can
like
only
Brazilian
imagine.
roaches, they're huge.
Ashley,
it was horrible.
I have
and
trauma.
my toaster, I had to like abandon it.
Oh, I have trauma just listening to her. I
Yeah.
really do. Amanda, you found some sort of wildlife in your house that scared you?
So, AML, love you guys.
Thank you.
Not necessarily wildlife. So we were at Disney spending, a wonderful family vacation.
Very clean there.
You
Very
you
clean.
come home from very clean, top notch. Come home from the parks late, we have the TV on. That's the only light, glaring at us. And I'm halfway asleep, and a huge, slimy tree frog jumps on my face.
Tree frog? A little frog.
No, thank
you. Of all the places to land, it's on my face, and I'm like literally jumping up to my feet as fast as I can, screaming, and I'm like, it rains every day there, so I'm like, oh my gosh, I couldn't even sleep. But Disney was really nice. They gave me like fast passes the next day because of my trauma.
Well, I will.
nice.
I will tell you this:
That's
if
nice.
a
It's like
frog
$100
jumped,
value.
if a frog jumped on my wife's face in the middle of the night sleeping, that would make my entire vacation.
That'd be awesome. That'd be great.
Now, if it happened to you,
I
you would
would
be
be
leaving
pissed.
immediately.
Oh yeah.
Because there are a lot of frogs everywhere. I
Oh,
know
yeah.
even around here. I go out at night and I'm like bordering something, and there's just frogs all over the
Yeah,
place.
they do. They come out. And then if you ever travel to a place that's way more tropical than our climate. You go and the tree frogs just sing you to sleep. I mean, it's beautiful.
Are they frogs or toads? How do you know?
Well, I think the ones that live in the trees are the frogs, and then toads I feel like are bigger.
On the ground?
Yeah.
Oh, then I guess they're toads all over the place.
Yeah.
They look similar. Now, that's similar. They look similar.
Okay, I'll give you. But a fox and a wolf?
I just looked it up. It says things that are similar to a wolf. It said coyotes, dogs, and foxes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
in they live outside. Okay, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
We have Nikosi. Nikosi, you were bitten by a bat?
Ooh.
Yeah, so I'm retired military, and we were doing training in Panama at this place called Jungle Training Center. So they basically do some training in class, and they send you out in the woods. So you helicopter in, and you literally almost can't sleep on the floor. You have to sleep with gloves on, like these leather gloves.
Oh.
And anybody that's been to Mexico or been to any tropical place, it's so hot where you're just like dripping sweat, and it feels like everything's crawling on you, but it's just sweat. So it was so hot, I rolled my gloves down. So I rolled my gloves to my knuckles, and I'm sitting there and I'm pulling patrol. It's probably 11 or 12 o'clock at night, and then I had because you don't have lights, everything's dark, and all of a sudden you ever have a moonlight or something look and you see something but you don't know what it is?
Yes.
Well, I saw something on my hand, and then I was like, oh my God, and I hit it. And then once I hit it, you can feel that it's actually an animal, and I lost it. I was like, ah! I'm yelling, what is that? What? I'm cursing, what is that? And then, of course, they're like, what are you doing? Calm down, be quiet. And then once they saw my hand, they turned the lights on, and then it was bleeding profusely. Like somebody stabbed me with a knife. It was bleeding so bad. We put the white lights on, tried to find the bat, because once they saw it, they knew it was a vampire bat. And when they bite you, they have an anticoagulant, so it makes your blood just keep flowing. So yeah, I had to get medevac. I had to get the whole. We never found the bat.
So now you had to be. You had to get because you didn't find the bat to test it. Did you have to get all the vaccines and for the rabies?
Yep, full rabies in the stomach.
How did it hurt?
Oh yeah, it's a big needle. It's a pretty big needle, and you have to. You do several rounds, and they put it right into your stomach.
That's exactly why I said that.
I was in my 20s, so I was like, whatever. But yeah, I got bit by a vampire bat on my hand.
Well, we're glad that you're alive. Thank you for calling and for listening every day. You see, he could have been taken out by a bat. Charlotte found some wildlife. There was a woman, by the way, who was just taking a nice, relaxing bath in Texas when all of a sudden she's right in the overflow drain, 2 claws coming out that ended up being the end of a scorpion that were coming through. But Charlotte, you found what in your home?
So mine's a little more humorous. My master bedroom's downstairs, and so a couple years ago, I'm waking up on the weekend, and I haven't had my coffee yet, and I kind of survey the room. There was a squirrel sitting on my mantelpiece.
That's pretty cool.
How did you get it out?
My dog. Oh, me and my son chased it around for about 30 minutes like a Three Stooges episode. We opened the back door and tried to chase it out. It went in the pantry. It was all, but my dog was in there the whole time, and she was just watching us.
Didn't help at all.
Wow, sometimes a dog would chase the...
Which I don't know if that helps or makes it worse, because I feel like our dog would make it worse. She would just rile it up, I think.
It would try to get out, though, maybe.
I would hope so. Crystal, a bat in your home, that's what you found?
Yes. So this was just a couple weeks ago in Trinity. We let the dogs out that morning, came back inside, sat down on the couch, looked up at the TV that was on the fireplace, and I was like, what is that? And so I went over there to it. It's like, oh, my gosh, it's a bat. So I woke up the kids. I woke up my husband, and we got butterfly catchers, like the little net.
Yeah.
And we went trying to, catch it and persuade it into these butterfly nets, and we're all jumping around squealing, and we finally get it into one, but it was hissing and had its mouth open with all its little teeth, and was displaying I'm gonna bite the mess out of you. And then we ran it outside the front door and my husband just threw it out in the yard in the net, and it just hit the ground, and it didn't even come out. It was upside down. So then he had to go back out there and try to release it. But yeah, we were not expecting to find that.
You're actually better not releasing it, and it's to keep it, because you should get the bat tested just in case it has rabies. And sometimes people don't know they actually got bit because it happened so quick.
That's true, and that's why it's terrifying. I've also heard that bats I think it's the bats, that they can't take off from the ground. You know, like they have to take off from a ledge or something.
So what happens if it's on the ground?
It can't move its wings up and down to be able to take flight.
It's got to find a way to get to some kind of elevation so it can fall to fly.
Because, like, unlike a bird, it's legs that prop it up, you know, that makes it taller, and then they're able to kind of run. I don't think the bat can do it.
No.
All right, we have time for one more. Phyllis, what did you find in your home? What kind of wildlife?
Okay, but real quick, I want to let you know that without bats, we wouldn't have tequila. They actually pollinate the agave in Mexico. Almost went extinct and was saved by this one man. I saw it on PBS.
Well,
real quick, but I was asleep and something tickled me, and I immediately just smacked my own self in the face because I was asleep. I did smack so hard, but I knew it was an attic spider, literally crawling across my face.
Oh.
But to tell you how sleepy I was so sleepy that after I smacked myself so hard, I knew it was dead. I didn't even get up. I checked the next morning, and then I said, yeah, it was an attic spider. But I had several in the house, and so I didn't realize, that it was actually crawling on my face, so I smacked it. And then I had a millipede that was as long as your finger, the one with a lot of legs.
Yes.
I'm just trying to be real quick to tell you that story.
Where do you live?
I live in Reedsville.
Yeah,
okay, never going to Reedsville.
How to be out in somewhere.
Thank you, Phyllis. Okay. Well, the next time you're taking a bath, you could maybe experience a scorpion coming up through your drain, like this woman.
He's gonna.
All right. Now I'm going to have, when you talk about stuff like that and all of a sudden you feel like things are on you or they're crawling near you?
Yeah.
It's going to be like that for the rest of the day, I think.